Hi you guys, how you doing? Sam here. So apologies if I look another way. I'm actually dual streaming at the moment, leveraging my time. So I've just had a really interesting conversation with someone and they asked me a question. And the question was, Sam, we're in a seller's market at the moment, i.e. the sellers have some leverage and power because property prices are going through the roof. How are you still getting deals from estate agents, really good deals from estate agents, when we're in a seller's market? And I went through a few points with this individual and I thought it was really interesting. I thought it might help you guys out as well and give you a bit of insight into what I do with estate agents, okay? Now, I think sometimes people see estate agents as these mythical beasts that they're really hard to approach and really hard to speak to and build relationships with, and it's very, very far from that. You know, they're humans like me and you, and it's all about that human to human interaction for me. It's a relationship like anything else. But I've got a few points that I wanted to go through, and I think these may help you out. If you've got any questions about how I communicate with estate agents, how I manage estate agents, how I build relationships with estate agents, then please drop them in the comments below, and I'll do my best to. If I see them now, obviously I will watch. I will comment and try and answer them now. And if I don't see them now, I'll always go back and have a look. All right. So number one is, I think you've got to change your expectations on getting in that estate agent's little black book, if that exists, right? You've got to change your expectations. And the reason people get sort of disillusioned by anything, I suppose, working with estate agents, doing direct to vendor mail, doing Facebook ads, whatever they're doing, when they become disillusioned and it's not working, it's typically because they had misaligned expectations. And what I mean by that is they expected it to happen overnight, or within a week, or within 2 weeks, or within 3 weeks, all right? And generally in life, that's not the case. Regardless of what you're doing, it's going to take you a significant period of time to get the outcome and the result that you wanted. So this is the long game, all right? It's about building a relationship. So it's like anything else, you know, you wouldn't get into a relationship with someone and jump into bed on the first night. Well, some of you maybe would, but a lot of us wouldn't. You'd build that relationship over a series of dates, over a series of time, until that point, right? It doesn't happen overnight. But I think you've just got to go into the estate agents and be yourself, right? Just be honest with them. Go in there, be yourself. Please don't go in there and be suited and booted. Please don't go there in your jogging bottoms. You know, find that happy medium. Just be yourself and go in and just be honest, all right? And the words I use with estate agents, I'll tell you that in a second, but I think so many people complicate the hell out of this, and they really build this building relationships and getting deals and going to see estate agents up in their mind like this real formidable task, and it's not at all. It's just going in somewhere and having a conversation with them. So being honest with them and saying, look, you know, I'm an investor in the area. I'm looking to invest in X, Y, and Z. I've got some other people who invest as well. Have you got anything available at the moment? And that's pretty much it. What I quite like to do, though, is ask questions and be interested and seek their advice, because this sort of positions them as the expert, makes them feel good. So I would typically ask, you know, what's selling really well at the moment? Or in what areas is there huge tenant demand? Where do the tenants want to stay? What sort of standard do the tenants want? And be really guided by them. Whether you want that, I can't even speak, sorry. Let me start again. Whether you want to know that information or not, it's academic. It's asking their advice, and they will feel good for you asking their advice. But the bottom line is, you've just got to be honest with them about who you are and what you're trying to do, okay? Don't go in there with this training room speak, but I'll talk about that in a second. I think when you do go in, you've got to have a bit of clarity and be quite specific about what you're looking for and what a deal is to you. So I see it quite a lot, and I speak to a lot of people and I ask them, okay, you went into the estate agency, what did you say? And sometimes they'll just say, I'm looking for some amazing investments, what have you got? And the estate agent will go, well, what do you mean by that? and they'll go, well, just anything that's a great investment, anything that stacks. Like, what the hell does that mean? What the hell does that mean? It's very, very clear. The more investors you speak to, and I speak to a lot of investors, everybody has a different definition of what they mean by a deal for that individual. Okay, so it's important that you go in there with clarity over what you believe is a deal, or if you're shopping on somebody else's behalf, what they believe is a deal. So you can then go in and speak to the estate agent and say, look, Mr. Estate Agent, we're typically looking for 2 to 3 bed properties, you know, maximum maybe 120,000, something like that. And we typically look for something where we can do some work to it, so we can do a refurbishment on it or something like that. So try and give the estate agent a helping hand and some clarity over what you believe to be a good investment for you. You might even get a little bit more specific than that, okay? But don't just go in there and say, I'm looking for anything with a 10% yield. Because what does that mean? Well, number one, everybody calculates yield very, very differently. And number two, well, it could be a garage, it could be a driveway, it could be a 3-bed semi, it could be a 1-bed flat with a 5-year lease remaining. Like, what does that mean? You know, you've got to give the estate agent a little bit of clarity over what you're actually looking for. Okay, point number 4, I think that this is, and this is just going on from that really, is please, when you go into estate agents, drop the training room jargon. Please don't use it. Please don't use it. BMV, yield, if the deal stacks, return on capital, you know, all these training room-esque words, please don't use them. Please don't use them. And the reason for it is because estate agents think you're a dick when you do it, so don't do it. They know you've just fell off a training course and you're going in to speak to them. I speak to a guy very, very frequently at this estate agent. We've got a great relationship. And he said, Sam, was there a course last weekend in the property world? I was like, well, why do you ask that? And he said, because I've had 16 people. This was it last week, the week before? I've had 16 people ring up and say they want something that's 20% BMV. And he was like, what the hell do they mean by BMV? Is that below the asking price? Is that below the actual market value? Is that below the end of market value? Like, what the hell does that mean? He said, but what it does show me is that person's probably just rocked off a training course. They've probably not got any money. They're probably going to take up loads of my time and waste my time. I'm not interested. They're going to go in the going to waste my time bin. Does that make sense? So as soon as you start using that training room terminology in the estate agents, immediately they're going to switch off. Immediately. And take that from experience as well, because I've done it as well. And I asked retrospectively, and I remember one guy said to me, oh, Sam, I remember when you first came in and you used that stuff, that jargon, and it really turned us off. You know, we don't like it. We don't like it. So again, it goes back to what I said. Just be yourself, be a human. It's human to human interaction, right? Don't bullshit baffles brains, okay? Bullshit baffles brains, so don't use it. You can get what you want by using normal words. I'm looking for a 2 to 3 bed property. I'm looking for something maybe below £120,000. I'm looking for something where we can do some work on that property. That gives you a starting position for them to start showing you property. You can do all your figures in the background, all your homework in the background, and understand whether that does or does not suit you. But please use layman terms with your estate agents, because they will think you're a muppet if you start using them training room terms, especially if you're just starting out, okay? It's not great to build your relationship with. Fifthly, I think this is be kind to everybody, all right? This might sound a bit cliche, but I hear it quite a lot that a lot of training will tell you to identify a particular person in that office, but it doesn't matter what their job title is in the office. It's about how connected they are. So again, one of the estate agents that we work with, yes, they've got the valuers, senior valuers, the MD. I'm telling you for a fact, the receptionist runs that office in this particular estate agency, right? The receptionist runs the office. So what does or does not happen, and the person with the major influence in that office is the receptionist. okay? So who do you think I keep happy? Who do you think I build my relationship with, as well as everybody else, the receptionist, all right? Because I've heard her say before on the phone to me, Sam, I've put in a good word for you, by the way, about that property. And then what happens? I get a phone call and we've got that property. Okay, so it's being kind to everybody. Don't just be kind to the people that you believe are going to give you something. Okay, so be kind to everybody, build relationships with everybody. So you've got a good name in that estate agency. Okay. Lastly, I think this is point 6 or 7 or even 5, I don't even know. But please don't pedestalize yourself above anybody else. Don't think you're an investor, therefore you're better than everybody else, because you're not. You're like everybody else that's trying to buy property from that person. You only start to become special in that estate agent's eyes when you buy a property and you follow through with your word. Let me repeat that. You only become special to that estate agency when you follow through with your word. So I will go to the ends of the earth to be my word. So if I say to an estate agent that I'm going to do something, I do it, and I will do anything in my power to make sure that that happens. And that, for me, is so important, and it's really important to them, because if they know, right, okay, I know Sam's going to deliver. If he says yes, he delivers. He's not one of these people who just says yes, then he can't get proof of funds, or he hasn't got an investor, or he can't get the finance, whatever. So you've got to be your word. If you're going to say yes to an opportunity in a property, follow through with it. Don't say yes and then back out, because that is going to destroy your relationship. So be your word. And that's how we've been getting a lot of our deals recently, in that there's been investors, and I use that term loosely, sources, I use that term even more loosely, right? Getting offers accepted on properties, which would be way above what we would typically pay, okay? Give it a month, that person can't produce proof of funds, they can't get the finance, they can't find an investor, okay, bye-bye relationship. The vendor's upset, they don't want to put it back on the market, they want a sale, they ring me, Sam, look, this vendor's been messed around, it's fell through once, twice, even 3 times by people messing them around. Their motivation now has very much changed from they want as much money as they can get to, okay, now they want to complete quickly, because every month it's costing them more mortgage payments. Every month it's costing them more utility bills and council tax bills. And these costs are really, really mounting up. Plus they've got a property they're purchasing on the other end, and they don't want the chain to break, all right? So their motivations may be changed. They just want to work with somebody who is their word and will deliver on what they say they're going to deliver on, okay? So be your word, guys. If you say you're going to do something, do it. And that goes through every part of your business, okay? So whether that's with investors or with estate agents or with whoever, if you're going to say you're going to do something, then please, 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 please do it. Every estate agent is very, very different, right? And I think another point you've got to understand is each estate agent's got their own needs and wants and goals as well. So for me, when I'm speaking to estate agents, what I want to understand is, you know, what are their goals? What are they trying to achieve? And how can I get them a step closer to that? It's not just all about me, 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 me. I'm about how can I help them, because once I help them, there's the law of reciprocity, right? That they'll want to help me back. Now, I used to work with a guy and he was paid on the number of viewings that he did. So I helped him out for the number of viewings that he did, all right? Because I was trying to help him, not think about my own pockets, all right? Value, value, value. I've said it before, value first, profit second, okay? Sometimes as well, sometimes you can't see them in the estate agency. They might be in the back room. Sometimes they're quite obvious. There'll be a sales leaderboard. Again, look on the sales leaderboard. Who needs help? Okay, what are they trying to achieve? And I ask them, listen, once I get a relationship with them, what are your goals? What are you trying to achieve? How can I assist you and add value to you and get you closer to your goals? And then try and make it a win-win for both of us. And Emmanuel, you're exactly right. You've got to arse lick without arse licking. Yeah, you've got to just be human. You've got to go in there. You've got to help them as much as you physically can, okay, without looking like an absolute brown nose. But I hope that helps. I'll just go through them points again briefly. Number one, change your expectations. It's going to happen overnight. Number two, ask questions. Be interested. Get their opinion on things. Make them feel valued. Number three, have clarity and be specific over what you're looking for. Don't just say you want a deal. What does that mean? Okay. Number four, I think it is, drop the training room jargon. Amanda, what are your thoughts on this? When people come into you or used to come into you and said, I want something BMV, or they use that training room jargon, did your soul die a little bit every time they said something like that? Because that's the feedback that I get. Number five, identify what their needs are, help them out. That's the law of reciprocity, right? Number six, be kind to everybody, and regardless of if they're the MD, the senior valuer, or the receptionist. You don't know who runs the show there, okay? So be kind to everybody, because it will massively benefit you and your relationship with the whole firm, okay? And lastly, be your word. If you say you're going to do something, follow through with it. Move heaven and earth to make sure you follow through with what you say you're going to do. If you're going to have a property, you put an offer in, it gets accepted, make sure you find a way to follow through on your word. That's really important. That's how you become special. That's how you get in that little black book, if that even exists. But I hope that helps, guys. Any questions you've got, drop them below. I've just seen Amanda's comment. Yes, I thought twat. There you go, guys. Amanda was an estate agent for 10 years. She knows best. Have a great day.